Hey, what's up guys? I've been on this journey where I invest $50 every week into the S&P 500 ETF VOO for the past 2 years. This week marks my 2-year milestone, so let's take a look at how year 2 shaped up. Last year at 1 year mark, we saw 11.4% return, turning $2,600 into $2,896. Pretty good, right? But this second year, things really took off. We saw our return rate jump to 26%, bringing in a profit of $1,351. So just in the second year alone, we made $1,055, more than 3 times what we made in the first year. Now, historically, the S&P 500 gives about 10% annual return. With dollar cost averaging, you typically expect less than 10% since you are buying shares regularly throughout the year, averaging out the cost. But this past year, the S&P 500 went up over 20%, giving us a great boost. But just remember, it won't always be this way. Some years we might see less than 5% returns or even losses, but sticking with it and investing consistently puts the odds in our favor because the stock market historically always hits new record highs after corrections. Now, let's talk about why staying in the market is so crucial. Last year's experience perfectly validates this. From July to October, the S&P 500 dropped over 10% and our portfolio lost all its gains since the beginning of this series. Yes, we lost everything we made throughout the year. But then, starting in November, the S&P 500 had one of the biggest rallies in history, going up over 30% from its recent low. If I had stopped investing or sold all my shares in October, I'd have missed out on that 26% profit now. It's proven repeatedly that everyday investors like us don't need to follow every piece of market news. Ignoring the short-term noise helps us avoid emotional decisions that can hurt our long-term gains. Now, if there's only one thing to take away from this video, it's this. Investing in the S&P 500 index fund or ETF is probably the simplest and the most effective strategy for anyone. Over the last 2 years, all it took was a $50 weekly investment, less than a minute of my time each week, and zero financial expertise. Now, I'm looking at the 26% profit. Most money-making opportunities come with significant cost, whether it's time, skill sets, or a substantial investment fund. But the S&P 500 index fund is different. Even if you only have $1 and no investing knowledge, you can start investing and making money. If anyone's skeptical, check this out. Warren Buffett plans to put 90% of his money into the S&P 500 for his wife after he's gone. With a net worth of more than $130 billion, if Buffett trusts it with over $100 billion, you know it's solid. Now, 2 years might be enough for some folks to see the effectiveness of this strategy. For others, it may take a bit longer. But just think of it like a special high interest rate savings account. By investing $50 every week for 2 years, I've got more than $6,500 saved up. If you put in $100 a week, you'd have more than 13 grand now. The more you invest, the more you accumulate. The only catch is, it's subject to market ups and downs, so your balance might not always look good. But as long as you're patient enough, time will work its magic. I'm not a financial advisor, so please do your own research before investing. But if my experiment makes you think it's worth a shot, feel free to join my journey. It just takes a little consistency and patience to be profitable in the stock market. If I can do it, you can do it better. That wraps up everything for this week. Happy investing and catch you next time.